When we talk about peace, we usually think of a world without wars. But true peace is more than just putting down guns. It's about making sure that everyone has what they need to live. Today, our group will explain why poverty is actually a threat to peace. We're going to look at two main things, which is the structural violence and inequality.
First, let's talk about structural violence. It sounds complicated, but it's simple. It's when our system, like our laws and economy, hurts its people by denying their basic rights.
For example, if a child dies from a preventable disease because their family is too poor for a hospital, that is structural violence. No one shot a gun, but the system failed them. You cannot have a peace in a community where people are suffering just to stay alive.
So, why does inequality causes conflict? The second option is inequality. This is the big gap between the haves and the have-nots. When a few people are very rich and many others are very poor, it creates tension. And this tension creates inequality.
Inequality leads to a loss of trust. When people feel the world is unfair, they get frustrated. This frustration can turn into protest, crimes, or even social unrest. This is why poverty isn't just a money problem, it's a peace problem.
In peace education, we learn that poverty is like a slow war. It eats away the dignity of people. A person who is hungry or homeless finds it very hard to think about harmony or cooperation. Therefore, if we want to build lasting peace, we must fight poverty. We need to build a society where everyone has a fair chance to succeed.
But we must be honest. Sometimes the enemy of peace isn't just poverty itself, it is the government that allows it to exist. When leaders misuse public funds, ignore marginalized communities, or pass laws that only favor the rich, the state stops being a protector and becomes the oppressor. Corruption and government neglect are forms of structural violence. When a government fails to provide basic healthcare, education, and fair opportunities, it actively breeds the frustration and desperation that leads to conflict. Yet, when we stand together to demand transparency and hold our leaders accountable, we have the power to transform these systems and build a brighter, more equitable world for everyone.